Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge. By the skin of my teeth, I'm live. The joke's on me, because I didn't think I would be live in time. Hope you're all doing very well. Welcome to the Premier League weekend, and we are live with our first watch-along. It's a big weekend, don't forget. We're doing Arsenal at West Ham tomorrow, Man United at Villa tomorrow, and then the Super Bowl tomorrow night here, which we're really excited about. I've got some of my American sweets already. We're ready to go. We're ready to go, and I hope you're all doing all right. Dirk says you're a bit early. Skin of my teeth, mate. Skin of my teeth. But we're good to go, and I think it's going to be an interesting game. I really do. I think Man City are going to pound Everton like a horny porn star. Yeah, I do. I really do. I think this is going to be... Watching Everton play last week against Spurs, I think Spurs missed an opportunity. I just don't think Everton have got the tools to deal with this job, to be blunt. So, yeah, I think it's going to be very hard. There's a lot of tools live at hard and porn talk here for a 12:30. So, yeah, let's get ready to go. Pep looks very relaxed. And I think they're going to be absolutely fine. But it's good to be live with you people watching a watch-along. I'm a little bit. I need to cool down a little bit. I'm really hot, and when you're quite hot. I'll be honest with you. I've just been doing a little bit of exercise about half an hour ago, and I'm one of those people. I'm a bit like Ben Foster. He goes on the bike at 6 o'clock in the morning. At 9 o'clock, he's still. You could warm your toast off him. He's so hot, and not in a good looking way. I mean, I'll leave that to you. But yeah, I'm one of those people as well that after I've exercised, I just give off heat for ages, and I just want to walk around in my pants, but I can't stream in my pants. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right to do that. So yeah, right. We've got an early super chat. Told you chatting and realizing he's not on. Says Sai. Don't know what that means. Heat is a good movie. Says Ladios. And Ben Webster says all Bens are good looking. Trying to think of an ugly Ben that you'd know. I know a few privately, but I'm trying to think of one you might know. Ben Dover. I don't know. Right, okay. Let me get this timer ready to go here. What was the last watch along I did? Will it work? Yes, get in. Right, Man City are all cuddled up. They're all cuddled up for a little bit of fun. And they're about to kick off here. I will go through the team news for you. It should be going around the stats carousel, but Alvarez is definitely playing. He's about to start the game here. Erling Haaland is starting as well. My captain in FPL. I'm quite happy with my FPL team, and I'm quite happy to expose it to you in a moment. But I can't see Everton doing this. I really can't. I think Will said he fancies a shock. Well, I said go and touch an electric fence, because you're not going to get a shock here today, William Brazier. But what we do have is an early free kick here. Foden and Dwight McNeil having a little... I hate that. I'm a little sly ferret. Yeah, Dwight McNeil ended up getting injured by his own player there. Okay, we're good to go. We're good to go. The timer's on the screen. Let me just run through both teams for you. Lots of games going on today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Premier League games today, which is good. It gives us lots of talking points. I'm on Talk Sport tonight as well, so that's a positive. I hated it when it was the 2-game weeks. So, Man City, Ederson, Stones, Akanji, Diaz, Aki, probably their strongest back four, although obviously none of them are fullbacks. Nunez, Rodri, Alvarez, Foden, Doku and Haaland. De Bruyne on the bench with Grealish, Kyle Walker, Bernardo Silva. I mean, look, for those people who don't understand the strength of squad depth, I mean, I'm not even talking Man United here. We take a sub off and we're basically a different team. But you look at Man City, look at their bench. Kyle Walker, Grealish, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Vardiel. And that's before you start getting to some of their youngsters like Bob and Lewis. I mean, they've got 5 amazing subs. Strength in depth is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Take 40 points off both teams, says Pip. Yeah, I saw somebody earlier put a smile on my face. They said it's the It's the match of the cheats. Yeah, I know what they're getting at, but Everton, Pickford, Godfrey, Tarkovsky, Branthwaite, Mikolenko, Idrissa Gueye, Garner, Young, Harrison, McNeil, Calvert-Lewin. I mean, look, I'll be absolutely honest with you. Ashley Young was a half-decent player at Man United and a half-decent player at Aston Villa. But when you've got Ashley Young in your team in the Premier League in 2024, you're going to get beat. He's just not good enough. It's a good trim, Mark, says BZ. I spoke to my hairdresser yesterday, and next haircut is going to be something new. I said that basically I've had this haircut since the Jurassic era. I haven't changed it since I got chased by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So he's got a few ideas. I'm quite nervous but excited. I haven't changed my hair in probably... Have I ever had a different haircut on doing streaming? I don't think I have in 8 or 9 years. Yeah, so it's going to be quite exciting to do. Right, I need to just check if this is going to work here because we're trying something new. Let me just see if this works. Yes. I've got the QR code there to scan it on your camera phones. Just make sure it works for you. It did for me. That takes you straight to Goldbridge Talks Football, Goldbridge Saves Football podcast. Get on this train. A lot of you already have. A lot of you already are ultras. But if you're not aware of the Goldbridge Saves Football podcast, this weekend we're trying to smash our biggest ever downloads for it because on Monday it's about to go nuclear. That's all I'm going to say is keep your eyes peeled on this chat and on that podcast because on Monday, after the first 4 months of this podcast, the step up that we always wanted to make is about to happen and you want to be part of it. So make sure you get on the podcast, scan it, give it a follow, download it for later. It's going to be great on Monday. Just very excited about it. But at least if you do it today, you can say I was a fan of the podcast before this happened. So get involved. Even says you should go for dreadlocks. Yeah, lots of ideas. We'll talk about it in a couple of weeks because this is going to last me for a month. Foden went quite close there, by the way. However, he says the link does work. Thank you. If you just go over there and give us a follow, then you can come back. But give it a listen over the weekend. It would be appreciated. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, says Thomas. He's talking about the haircut. He's talking about the haircut. Did you hear this news today as well that Gareth Southgate's thinking about staying on as England manager? What an absolute prick tease. What an absolute prick tease. I mean, he said he did shit in the Euros. He did shit in the Autumn Internationals. And then he put it out there that, I'm going to leave after the Euros. So everyone just left the Southgate out thing, didn't they? They were like, okay, he's going after the Euros anyway. I knew this would happen. He was under pressure in the autumn. The results were shit. The football was shit. Under pressure. And then what did they do? Just say you're leaving after the Euros. And then you get close to the Euros. Oh, we want him to stay for ages now. Just ridiculous. Ridiculous. If he doesn't win the Euros and the World Cup, he's a failure. The team is just too good. Our Euros, our England squad is the best squad in the world. I'm telling you now, you put a half-decent man, you put Eddie Howe in charge, we'll win the World Cup and the Euros. I'll argue this with anyone. He's a failure because he's not taking advantage of what is, without doubt, the best squad in international football. Anyway, domination from Man City early on here, as you'd predict, with the possession. Anyone got any either ors? Bit early to be drinking, says Tom. I'm not drinking today. I had 4 pints yesterday, and I'm not even joking. I use Whoop, right? It's charging up at the moment, but I've had loads of green days. I may as well sing "Time of My Life" because I've had loads of green days in January, and I'm so good today. I'm on it. If you know, you know. And I've had loads of green days on my Whoop, and basically how it works, people will have different things, but it monitors your heart rate, your fitness, your breathing, your sleep. And I've been in green for most of the last month. And I'm red today. Just because anytime you have alcohol, it's red. Oh, cross from Everton. Ashley Young. Oh, where's it going to go? Rubbish cross. Yeah. You can't, on these bloody fitness armbands, you have a drink of alcohol and it's like it's bad for you. But yeah. Right. He's in. Ooh, Edison gets there first and gets there second. Oh, he's all right. Goalkeepers always go down injured here, don't they? As soon as it's a 50-50. Start bench sell. Ramos, Vidic, Van Dijk. Love the show, mate. That's a cracking one, that is. Start bench sell. Ramos, Vidic and Van Dijk. Well, I love Vidic. I've always loved Vidic. It's a niche thing. But Vidic is my favourite centre-back because he embodies everything I wanted in a centre-back. In the modern game, probably doesn't work as well, but you know what? Schmeichel wouldn't work in the modern game, and he's still the best goalkeeper I've ever seen. So I think you have to give allowances to development of football. You know, Gaza wouldn't work in the modern game because his fitness would be crap. So evolution of the game doesn't cloud my judgment. So Vidic, I would start. Ramos or Van Dijk, I think you've got to bench Ramos and sell Van Dijk, yeah. But yeah, Job says I'd start Ramos, bench Vidic and sell Van Dijk. I get that, but I just love Vidic. What do you think about Klopp taking the German job after the Euros, says Pranav? I think that's a job that Liverpool fans would you... Yeah, unfortunately it's not a Liverpool exclusive chat, so I can't do a poll, but I think Liverpool fans would accept Klopp taking the international job because it's nowhere near as intense as club football. They'd be pissed off if he took the Barcelona job, and that wouldn't be right. Rebecca says, I absolutely love the podcast, even better than that it's 2 a week. Keep up the amazing work and hope there will be a live one in 2024. Look, I have got live shows coming up. Just keep your eyes peeled. Something really excited about, so keep an eye on that. Not United stand, so it's very much general football this time, so looking forward to that. And yeah, check out the podcast while we've got the break. Scan the QR code, give us a follow, download it to listen to. Monday it's going to go off like a bottle of pop. I'm so excited, and it's going to have a direct impact on this channel as well. They're almost getting married, but that's not the big reveal, but the result of it will be they're not having sex together. Grow longer on top, less product, sides faded, says Aaron. Grow longer on top, less product, side faders. Yeah, but you know what, my hair, I don't know what my origins are. Well, I do. I know who my grandparents were. They used to buy me Christmas presents, but I don't know what the origins are. You know, like sometimes you can have like black hair, but freckly arms because somewhere in your family there's someone with maybe, you know, ginger hair or something. But if I don't put products on my hair at any length, it's just horrible. I hate my hair when it doesn't have product in it. It's just like, not fuzzy, but it's just horrible. I wouldn't like to be seen in public with it. Anyway, we've still got an injury here. What are you up to with your missus on Valentine's Day, says Mr. Nobody. I'm not a big fan of Valentine's Day, to be honest with you. I think it's a little bit commercial. If you enjoy it, great. It's nice when you're younger. Like I said, just go down the jewellers and get a job lot of earrings. 5 of the same, please. Give them to 5 girls you fancy and then just see what happens. And it was a good investment. But when you're married and you're in a long-term relationship, as I say, why go out on a Wednesday night when you can go out on a Thursday or a Friday night? We went out for a lovely meal yesterday. Lunchtime. A couple of drinks as well. I haven't missed your super chat, Tommy. Stop. Oh, look at this. Can we get the world's smallest violin for Tommy? You've missed my super chat, and then he's done 3 sad faces. Grow up, Tommy. Grow up. You're not like Tommy Shelby, are you? Grow up, Tommy. Grow up, Tommy. Bloody hell. I haven't missed your super chats. They're listed. I just like to play the field with them a little bit. Sometimes I don't do them in order. Sometimes I chat about something else. But I've got a live chat here, and I've got a super chat list here. Last year, granted, I hadn't figured that out. This year, I have. So I don't miss super chats. I just take my time on them. Love the pod, Mark Ultras, says Harvey. Thank you very much. Mark, you said you will never watch City play club below top 7 or 6. There is a clip out there, says Kaka. I know, but I sometimes say things and do the opposite. That's life. Sonic, welcome to the members club. Oh, I forgot we can get members on here. Thank you very much, Sonic, for being our first member of the day. Get your badge in like Rebecca and TMT, who says, stop bullying Tommy. Tommy says, here we go. He's built it up now. Will it be good? I tell you what, Tommy, I stand corrected, said the man in the orthopaedic. That's what you get for copying people's comedy. Start, bench, sell from Tommy. Robson, Brian, Scholes or Keane? What a question. I would start Keane because he's my favourite player. I would bench Scholes and I would sell Robson. And it's for the simple reason I'm not going to pretend I know what Robson was like. I didn't really see him play. I didn't. By the time the sort of... Look, what you got to remember is I started watching football in the late 80s. I don't think that was necessarily Robson falling off. But in the late 80s, we had very little live football. And I very rarely got to watch Man United live. If I saw them live twice a season, I was lucky. Normally, it would be at the City Ground when they were playing Forest, and the occasional trip to Old Trafford, but it wasn't very regular. Also, I was probably aged between 5 and 10, so you don't analyse the game the same way. So Robson's probably better than Scholes and Keane, but I wasn't old enough and we didn't have access enough to TV to actually, analyse a player like that. So I have to go Scholes and Keane because I saw a lot of them. It's like people who say George Best is the best player ever. Yeah. Are you over 60? Because otherwise you're talking out your arse. You're just going off anecdotes. And I don't do that. Like when people say De Bruyne is the best midfielder in the world, yet they spent half the Premier League era up their mum's chuff, they're talking out their arse. Chuff and arse in the same sentence there. But you can't say that somebody's the best player in the Premier League if you're up your mum's chuff for half of it. Like, I've seen all of the Premier League. I remember it all. I was obsessed with football. I was probably more obsessed with football in 92. Well, I knew more about players in 92 because you had sticker books and everything, didn't you? But Rich says he's over 60 and he was, and I'd listen to Rich. I would. Rangers or Celtics says BS. We don't do that. Can't wait for the Super Bowl tomorrow, Mark, says Alex. It's again, I tell you what, I'm going to need those sugary sweets tomorrow night because I've got 2 watch-alongs and then late at night I've got the Super Bowl. But I'm looking forward to it. It's one of my favourite non-football streams of the year. I think the Super Bowl watch-along and the charity stream are my 2 favourite streams of the year because they're just different. And you don't need to like the NFL to enjoy the Super Bowl stream. It's just good fun. What do you think? And also, I'll explain the rules to you in very simple terms. What do you think about Klopp taking the Germany job? We've done that one. Stadium isn't for United, it's for the Buccaneers, says Tyler. What's your FPL team looking like this week, says Joe. I'll tell you in a minute. I love the Rasmus interview. Can't wait for the Rashford one, says Yash. And Fisk says, start, bench, sell. I'll tell you what, if Rashford did an interview on the United Stand, it would do him far more positivity than doing it with TNT or Rio Ferdinand or someone like that. Because, you know that's just PR. It's a box-ticking exercise. You do it with the United Stand, the biggest fan community. Rasmus was very, very bright and aware to do that. Start, bench, sell. A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Bench, sell, Return of the Jedi. Bench, A New Hope. Start, Empire Strikes Back. Tommy, I want to play with you, baby. I want you for the 14th, says Dan. There we go. Either or, Pedro Neto or Almiron? Neto, Bart. Definitely. Matt says, I'm fully backing the 49ers for the Super Bowl, Mark. Also, who do you want to win between a Jaguar versus a giant river otter? I don't even know what a giant river otter looks like, but I imagine a Jaguar would win. Who's your favourite NFL team and player, says Son. Well, I've always been a Cowboys fan, but to be honest, I probably at the moment like the Bills and Josh Allen. I just wish they knocked out the fucking Chiefs. I'd have loved Bills 49ers final. I don't like the Chiefs. It's like watching Man City, who haven't scored in the first 16 minutes here. Ash says, big up, Mark. Do you agree with Neville's comments recently on Italian teams we played against in the past? I'd have to listen to Neville and his podcast to know what he said, and I didn't. And that's not because I don't like his podcast. It does very, very well, but I just don't have time to, with all I do. Are you going to do Champions League watch-alongs? I will, Callum. I will do them on Tuesday and Wednesday, but I've got to be honest. We'll be doing a lot of either-ors and chats about things, I think. Dan John is really going in on Tommy. He says, Tommy, are you single and ready to mingle? And Paul Matt says, would you have Jared Branthwaite at United? No, I think we can do better than that. I really do. I'm not walking out in protest. It's not my job. I'm not your servant. Right answer is the Eagles. You failed me, Mark, says Son. Here he is. Come to get his iPad, look. Let me know. The percentage should be about 80%, I think.
Yeah.
All right, see you in a bit. Right, back again. Are you going to do a Liverpool watch along? No. No, that's me for today. After this, there are some good games going on, in fairness, but let me get that stats carousel rolling around. Remember, our stats carousel is sponsored by OneFootball. You can download it through the link in the description. Get all your latest breaking football news, transfer news on there, score updates as well. It's free to download on Apple and Android. 79% possession for Man City. What a surprise in the first 20 minutes. Frustration is the only tactic Everton have got here, isn't it? And I must admit, Man City haven't really got firing yet, but as we know, they've got that De Bruyne. Here we go. This could be it. Haaland, nice ball in. Alvarez stands it up in the box. He'll hit this. Good block. Second ball, though. Look, Man City are so good at winning those second balls. Rodri into Doku. Goes for a shot, and Haaland won't be happy with that. Yes, as I was saying, there's some interesting games today. Fulham, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Burnley, Luton, Sheffield United, the big 3 o'clock game, isn't it? I mean, I say big. It'll be interesting to see what the score is at full time. I wouldn't spend any time watching it. Tottenham, Brighton, could have been a TV game. I think that's quite interesting. Wolves against Brentford as well. And then Forest, Newcastle at 5:30. But I'm on TalkSport at 7:30. So if you want to join me on YouTube, you're more than welcome. I'll be discussing all the game's action. Neville basically said that certain Italian players played like they were on drugs. They were that good in certain games. I say a diet of olive oil and tomato beats a fish finger and chips, Gary. Nick, it's a very interesting point. I don't know, like, you know, if for Gary Neville to say something like that, and I haven't listened to know the context of it, but look, we're talking, Gary Neville was playing, what, 25 years ago? We've had a lot of stuff in cycling and athletics. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that players were being doped. And maybe he knows more than he's letting on, because it's a big thing to say on a podcast that's going to be seen by, you know, probably 1 million, maybe more people. You can't just throw that sort of stuff out there. So he's probably onto something, but also you make a good point. Fitness and preparation was better in Serie A in the 90s than it was in the Premier League. So there could have been a gap. Are you going to do Palace against Chelsea on Monday, says Leroy? I think I am. I think it's going to be a good game on Monday night, actually. Yeah, I think I will. Mark, I had to get rid of one of my mates. They wanted a game of soggy biscuit after the pub, says Dan John. Don't know what it is. Don't want to know. 49ers are the last chance of saving America tomorrow, Mark, says BS. And I saw your 66 school paper interview with Bobby Moore, says Dilshan. Hilarious. Sean Thomas, thank you very much for your super chat. And Manuel, there is a watch along tomorrow for the Chiefs. I mean, look, if anybody's, it's a really good event tomorrow. Tune in for me. Make sure you get yourself some American snacks, because you'll need it to get through the stream. Makes it good fun as well. But what are the odds? I'd say, what's that like? If the Chiefs are Man City, what are the 49ers? Spurs? That's what I was told. Doku tries to get the cross in. Mark, I dreamt that Bromley beat Solihull in the playoffs at Wembley, says Screenboy. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. Up the moors. What's your favourite bird, says Havard? Are we talking actual feathery winged things, or are we being crude? I'm going to go with an eagle. Put the Manchester back in United still scares me, says Faris. 49ers are more like Liverpool, says Gifted. Well, at least it's closer. Yeah. But no, I'm not talking about history, LFC. I'm talking about ability. How good are they compared to the Chiefs this year? Mark, thoughts on the Drake video, says Bob. Haven't seen it. 49ers would be United. Storied history, bad lately, mate, says Thomas. And Sean Thomas, thank you very much for your joining the members club. You're an absolute legend, mate. Thank you very much. Get your badge in. Thanks for your support. Good ball into the corner there. And good tackle on Foden. Bit physical from Tarkowski. He likes a bit of physicality. If he sees a man running through, he's all over him. Saw it reported that blue cards are being put on hold now, says Robbo. Good. Did the reaction to it. Absolute joke. I'll tell you what, at the moment, it won't end like this. Man City will get some sort of surround the referee penalty or something like that. But at the moment, Everton have looked quite comfortable. And they'll grow in confidence, of course. Man City just don't look at the races. They're going to bloody score now, aren't they? No. That would have been the kiss of death. Go on, Dwight McNeil. That surely was a foul. No, play on. Mark, on a serious note, thanks for all you do. I've been here since 2019 and I want to be a regular contributor here, says Dan John. Thank you, Dan. Hope it goes well with Tommy. Those Snipes, thank you very much for your super chat as well. What would you do if Seb became a Liverpool player, says Son? Be happy for him. I mean, bloody hell, play for Liverpool. And I mean, you've got to be really of a very, I think, exclusive mindset that as a Man United fan, you wouldn't accept your kid playing for Liverpool, or as a Liverpool fan, you wouldn't accept your kid playing for Man United. I mean, they're going to be playing for one of the best clubs in world football, and they're going to be in an exclusive club of about 0.00001%. So I wouldn't have an issue with it at all. It's not going to make me support Liverpool. I liken it to having Haaland in your FPL. I can't stand Man City, but I'm not stupid enough to think that he might score goals. Right, let me tell you. Getting a bit chesty lately, actually. I've just noticed that this week. FPL. My fantasy Premier League team this week is good, but it might be one of those weeks where it doesn't perform. Doku's in down the right-hand side, puts the cross in. Good defending by Branthwaite. So my team this week, I've got Areola in goal. I've got Porro, Saliba and Estepanan. My midfield is De Bruyne, who is obviously on the bench. Bit annoying. Garnacho, Saka and Son. And then my front three is Watkins, Haaland captain and Kuna. So I'm quite happy with the team, but doesn't mean it's going to deliver. Awesome Gamer says, I need City to lose. I think we all want City to lose, don't we? But Doku's final ball, not as good as it could have been there. He tried. He tried. Ufa says, I don't know why he's not playing De Bruyne. I think it's this whole sort of obsession at the moment with being he can't play every game. Versace says, as an American, genuine curious what your favourite American snack is. I mentioned it on the podcast. These little fish things. Can't remember what they're called, but someone on the podcast will know what it was. They're just like little... They're not fish flavoured. That would be vile. Don't want... Imagine fish... I wonder why fish-flavoured crisps never took off. Imagine that. Salmon crisps or... tuna, cod. What a lovely smell. Reminds me of... Anyway... no, yeah, then they are fish-shaped and they're in different colours, but they're almost they're like cheesy, I think. Swedish fish, apparently. Scampi crisps are actually very nice. They're very nice. Scampi fries. Yeah, good point. Fingers smell a bit, though. Have you watched the Putin-Tucker-Carlson interview, says Alex G? No, Doku's in again, though. Cuts it back to the back post. Haaland over the bar. You're so cute, says Son. Thank you. And what Palace do you think Chelsea will play this season? By the way, I'm a huge fan of yours, says Foes. On Monday, well, I think Palace need a win and Chelsea need a win. I think it'll be a very interesting game. Matt Ross says, would you rather Ruud van Nistelrooy, Robin van Persie or Bergkamp to work with Rasmus? And what do you think about, who do you think Erik ten Hag would pick? Oh, as a coach, I'd be happy with any of those. I really would. But I think probably Van Persie. Mark, on a serious note, I've done that one from Dan John. Junior says, Goldbridge doesn't do politics. It's funny you should say that, because our next podcast, which is launching in the summer, is going to be Goldbridge Saves Politics. I think it's going to do really well. Hi, Mark. Start, bench, sell. Palmer, Paqueta, Bowen. And don't watch the Drake video, because I know you will be tempted. I won't, CFC. I won't. You couldn't avoid the video that came out last week. But I can avoid that. Did you know you rarely win games without scoring, says Alex G. I did. Good point. Well made. Start, bench, sell. Palmer, Paqueta or Bowen. I would, at this moment in time, recency bias considered, I would... It's a bit like who you'd take for your team, isn't it? So I'd have to sell Bowen. And I think I'd bench Paqueta and I'd start Palmer, to be honest. Mark, what are your thoughts on PFA Player of the Year at this point, says Joe? Well, what are your contenders? I've heard a good few contenders. Declan Rice has been mentioned. Rodri's obviously been mentioned. Mo Salah's been mentioned. The exciting thing about PFA Player of the Year is that it's not really obvious at the moment, whereas I think in previous years you knew it was between one or two players. Last year we knew it was going to be Erling Haaland. Somebody just meant, Ben just said Foden there. Addy just said Ross Barkley. But yeah, I think it's wide open at the moment. But I do quite like the fact that holding midfielders are getting a bit of glamour. And, you know, I think Alexi McAllister at Liverpool's done a good job. I don't think he'd ever win it, but I do think he's done a good job at Liverpool. I know some people disagree with me on that. Pato says, okay, Mr. Politics, was Brexit a good choice for you? Yeah, it was sarcasm. I'm not solving politics. Dan John says, Tom Garrett's actions are normal between the mates. Usually we have a go in a circle of six. Yeah, don't put that thought in my head. Here's Everton. Harrison into Young. Crap ball. Everton will be happy with this first half an hour, though. I just don't think you can go to the Etihad and keep a clean sheet. You've got to do more with the ball on the break, and I think some of their passing has been shit. Here's Foden down the right-hand side. Nice little ball. This should be a goal. Oh, wow. Wow. Really surprised from Nunez there. All he's got to do is cut this back, and Erling Haaland's probably got a goal. It's a lovely pass by Foden. It's a good run by Nunez. Just cut it back. To be fair, Haaland should have held his run a little bit there as well. Either or, Ji-Sung Park or Hung Min Son. I'll go Son, Danny. Start, bench, sell. Rooney, Gerrard, Lampard as a coach. Corner to Man City. I mean, that is different shades of not very good, is it? Yeah, you know, I think Gerrard's the worst. No, you could say Gerrard's the best because of Rangers. Lampard is, I mean, you've probably got to say Rooney. I don't know. I think it's really hard. Really hard. Lampard's got to be the worst. Yeah. Branthwaite clears it. Man City just looking a little bit more menacing here. Good tackle by... That's poor by Calvert-Lewin to lose the ball there. It's just weak. Like, Calvert-Lewin's got the ball. Aki tackles him. And then Doku's running at the fullback. It's terrible by Calvert-Lewin, that is. I'd be shouting at him in a very angry way. Right, here's Doku again. Aki cross to the back post. Pickford's got to get there. Just about does. Foden's still got it. Goes for the shot from distance. Oh, Everton barely getting out here, but they do. Calvert-Lewin. What a shit pass. He's having a fucking awful game, Calvert-Lewin. Do you watch other leagues, Bronzy? I think post-COVID, I've always been honest that before COVID, I used to watch a lot of Serie A, and I'd probably do the highlights of La Liga. Oh, here we go. Doku, pure pace, cut back. Oh, there's just no one there. But it'll come to Rodri. He thought about shooting. Nunez again. Another cross. Branthwaite and Tarkowski dealing with these crosses at the moment. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of Serie A pre-COVID, and I'd always watch the highlights from the week for like Bundesliga and La Liga. I don't now. I'm more highlights of Serie A, and occasionally I'll have a look at other leagues. But yeah, COVID just stopped it for me. I don't know why. What's the most underrated United side, says Dan John. I think 94. Double winning side. Doesn't really get enough recognition. They were the first to do it as well. City fans chanting Old Trafford is falling down, says Jack. Yeah, but they're obsessed with us and they're in a title race with Arsenal and Liverpool. That's about right. England manager Gareth Southgate has revealed he's considering a recall for Rangers #1, Jack Butland. I really feel bad for your team. Yeah, but you've got to pick three, haven't you? You've got to pick 3 goalkeepers, and Pope's injured, and Ramsdale's not playing, so you can understand it. Hey, nice ball. Calvert-Lewin. Oh, that was the wrong ball. He should have gone left there. I feel Everton have been rubbish here in the final third. Bart says Calvin Phillips made a direct contribution to conceding against Bournemouth, and Ward-Prowse constantly outshines him. He'll get picked for England, says Bart. This is, in a way, this is going to be either justice or irritating that he'll still pick Phillips over Ward-Prowse, even though Ward-Prowse gets picked ahead of him and plays better in the same bloody team. Alvarez. Free kick. Have you noticed Man City fans, when there's blue seats near them, they sort of try and cover them up? I just saw there's a couple of blue seats behind the goal, and then there's a fan next to it sort of stood up, moving across like that, trying to make out, leaning across the seats. We can see him. Here's one. Kev's channel says, watch, sell, bin, Predator, Terminator, Alien. Well, I like all 3. But I prefer Predator and Terminator to Alien, if I'm being honest. Predator's probably my favourite of the 3. So I'd start that. And it's a long way to go for Everton here. I can't see it. I mean, they've made a game of it. They've made a watch-along of it. Let's give them some credit here. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're on the road to 103,000 subscribers. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved with That's Football. Some big news coming on Monday. Scan the QR code. Get involved with the podcast. It's going to be big on Monday. Big news coming. And very excited. And here we go with Dwight McNeil. It's a good cross, but Calvert-Lewin's about 5 weeks too slow getting on the end of that. He's having a bad game. He looks way off the pace, Calvert-Lewin. Is he carrying an injury, Everton fans? He just doesn't look at it today. Mark, what will it take for you to become a Chelsea fan? Says Yash. No, there's no amount of money. Imagine that, if you could transfer. Will you transfer to Chelsea and set up the Chelsea stand for $1 million? No. Good cross in the box. Oh, fuck off. Harrison. Where's your composure, mate? You're a Premier League footballer. It's not a good chance, but it's a half a chance. Cross comes in from Ashley Young. Calvert-Lewin goes for it. drops to Harrison in the box, and basically, I don't know what that is. Terrible technique. They're the sort of chances you've got to take, though, aren't you? Hammer says, you're such a big baby when you talk about City. I'm not a big baby. But your problem is I don't speak very complimentary about Man City, but I don't care because I don't like Man City. It's very, very simple. And I don't like Liverpool and I don't like Arsenal, but there's a level of respect for Liverpool and Arsenal. I don't respect Man City. That's the problem. It's very hard to respect them because how can you respect something that is accused of a lot of things? Maybe when they get cleared and we know the full story, they can start earning respect. But why would I respect somebody who's got 115 charges against them? It's very, very difficult. So Man City fans don't understand this. They'd be exactly the same if Liverpool had 115 charges against them. Or Man United. They'd never shut up about it. But Man City fans seem to crave praise and respect. How are we supposed to praise and respect you when you've got 115 charges against you? Very good team. Treble winners. Best team in the world, I think. But don't respect them. And they don't understand it. Why should I respect Man City? I don't. But they struggle with it. They don't understand it. Old Trafford might be falling down, but at least we can still sell it out. How many empty seats have you got this week, says Jack. Would you set up the Chelsea stand for 200 million, says Les. For 200 million? I'll set up the Man City stand for 200 million, mate. 200 million's a lot of fucking money, mate. Bloody hell. I don't have to close the United stand, though, do I? That's a different matter. Etihad was built by cheats. City soon to face the heat. Relegation to become. Pep is just a bum. Had to make my own. What do you think, says Thomas Hopley. I don't know. Hammer7 says, but you're doing a City watch along. I don't like... What's that got to do with anything? So I'm not allowed to do a Man City watch along. What if you lose? I'd love it. I'd hate... Someday you're going to lose and I'm going to be there to laugh. But you won't lose today. Anyway, I can still watch a game of football and enjoy it. Just because I don't respect Man City doesn't mean I can't watch a game of football and say... I can still say that, you know, watching someone like Erling Haaland or Phil Foden, they're still very good footballers. They're not the cheats, are they? They're not the ones who've been accused of it. Phil Foden's still a bloody good player. They've still got... Rodri's still the best holding midfielder in the world. Why should I deprive myself of watching that? Calvert-Lewin hasn't been in it for a while. We have the lowest goals conceded from open play, but we score less than a priest in a dive bar, says Dance. Yash says, I'd rather have 150 charges than be History FC. No, you wouldn't, Yash. And Mark, you've always been jealous of Arsenal. Come on. I'm just going to ignore these comments in the future because you don't watch the content. You're talking out your arse. I was complimentary of Arsenal and Arteta when certain Arsenal fans were printing fucking T-shirts. So let's not start talking bollocks about how I can watch football in a non tinted glasses way. But every fan base has got what I call its own arseholes. United have got plenty. Good tackle again. Branthwaite's having a great game again. Really is. Price. Here we go. Doku. Ashley Young. Look at him throwing his fucking foot in again. He's an accident waiting to happen, isn't he? Why do Everton play Ashley Young? He's so lucky there that Doku didn't know that contact was coming, because he could have gone down. He's just kicking his leg out. What a wally. Imagine that. You'd be fuming. You put all that work in for 42 minutes, then Ashley Young kicks out. M. Shah says, why would anyone be jealous of Arsenal? They've got 0 Champions Leagues. Yeah, I suppose that's a big thing for Arsenal, isn't it? I tell you what, though, you never know this year. You never know with the Champions League. I think the Champions League is really hard to predict this year. Man City are favourites, but beyond then, who knows? Paddy says, pick one film, Heat, Goodfellas or Pulp Fiction. Well, I'm always going to go Heat. Would you swap Arteta for Ten Hag? No, HS, no. Thanks for the super chats, by the way. Legends of the chat. Please do subscribe. Still 0-0 here. Good free kick opportunity to curl it in centrally. I wouldn't expect Everton to concede a goal from a set piece, to be honest. But Man City have got a lot of people who can get on the end of set pieces, as we know. Rodri, Haaland, Akanji, Stones, Rodri. I think I've said him twice. But they have got aerial ability. And it's gone to the back post, but Pickford will pick it up. Evan says that De Bruyne is going to come off on the bench and win this game. Well, yeah. I wouldn't disagree. What do we got? What do we got? I'll tell you what, I'm bloody starving. I'm bloody starving. This is, the longer this goes on, the more it's got. Yeah, Everton need to score. To have any hope, they need to score at some point. Because there's no way Man City in 90... Here we go. Tarkowski caught out. Pickford. Alvarez could have got Haaland in one-on-one there. He's just not taking care of the ball well enough. No, you can't do that. Yeah. Yeah, you can't say that. Love your work. Big up, Mark, says Sash. Thank you, pal. 3 minutes being added on here. Would you swap Ten Hag for Pep, says Q8? I tell you what, I'd like... I would... Yeah, of course I would. I mean, come on. There's red-tinted glasses in this stupidity. Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world. I would do it simply because I'd love to see the experiment, because... Well, we don't know what Ineos are going to do we? I mean, Pep Guardiola wouldn't come anywhere near United unless they give him an open checkbook, which I don't think they can. Why do I have a feeling that City will buy De Jong? Him and Rodri would be special, says Cag. Yeah, I've always felt that Man City would be a good fit for De Jong. The Barcelona team. Start, bench, sell, bacon, sausages or beans? Well, I'll sell beans because as much as I like them, I don't think my stomach likes them. I've noticed that a lot over the last 6 months. And I don't like bacon as much as sausage, so yeah. Jack says, feels like you can't watch rival teams play anymore without people taking the piss out of you. I'm not bothered. That's football's the biggest non-football specific community in the world, and the United Stand is a United content channel, and I'm a United fan, but I love watching football. I always have. When I was like 7 or 8, we'd get one game a week on the telly, 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm not joking, it could be Millwall against Luton and I'd still bloody watch it because it's the only live football you've got. youth of today, you've got so much football, so it's a different sort of thing. I got into football because we hardly had any of it, so I'd watch anything I could. I think, goal, what a block. You lot got into football because you can watch anything you want to watch. You've got great choice. So football's, I love football. What a block this is by Tarkowski as well. Does hit him on the arm, but the arm's in at the chest, so. No handball. Play on. Man City were actually appealing for a handball there. Come on. Be better. Cross comes in though. Foden with the shot. It's in, it's out. It's gone for a corner. Good point by Lee Berman here, one of our members. I tell you what, I do like the members badge on That's Football. I love the little football thing. And Lee Berman's a member, and he says, as a kid, all we really had was Italian football on Channel 4 on a Saturday morning and Match of the Day. Yeah, that's why I used to watch a lot of Italian football. Really should be blowing up for half time here, ref. And he has done. Thoughts on the half then? Let's get the old stats up on the screen. I've hit the wrong mouse. There we go. Half time 0-0. Still a long way to go for Manchester City and Everton, but 0-0 so far. 74% possession for Man City. 0 shots on target. Everton have actually had a shot on target. So a slow day at the office so far from Man City, I think it's fair to say. They haven't looked their normal selves. And I'm not so sure that the Alvarez, Núñez, Rodri midfield three really works as well as a Kovacic, Rodri, Foden, or a De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Rodri. I think that's been the problem here for Man City, is they've just not really dictated the game as well as we know they can. Cag says it's been a bit of a snooze fest. Kevin De Bruyne will come to the rescue, says Watson. And lack of width in the side, says the Lone Ranger. But look, I still do think that we're not going to end the game with 0 shots on target for Man City. And whilst Everton have done very well so far, I feel if they want a point from this game, they've got to score. I agree with Nigel. He says once City scores, it's game over. And they will score because it's at the Etihad. And you'd fancy Man City to score in any game. And they will score at some point. So I think Everton have done really well defensively. I think Branthwaite's been fantastic. Tarkowski's been very, very good. The midfielders worked really hard. But at some point, the attackers have got to provide a bit of a threat. Calvert-Lewin looks way off the pace, and that's really frustrating if you're an Everton fan, because the defence is performing heroics, but up front there's not enough going on, and you're going to have to score at the Etihad if you want to get a result. Bart says start, bench, sell Peter Crouch, Andy Carroll, or Christian Benteke. Honestly, having seen all three play and in the Premier League, I would start Crouch. I would bench. See, I nearly said bench Benteke because it's Ben. I would bench Benteke and I'd sell Andy Carroll. Yeah, I mean Andy Carroll wasn't too bad at a certain period of time. I sure remember Andy Carroll. Someone might be able to tell me whether this is true. One of my proudest FPL moments was involved Andy Carroll. I used to be very good at FPL. I used to really, all week I'd be doing, research. And Newcastle played Arsenal. And Andy Carroll scored a hat-trick and I captained him. And not many people had Andy Carroll. I just remember, I went into work on the Monday and it was like, he should be managing Barcelona. He absolutely knows football. Are you going to watch Palace against Chelsea on Monday? Dreading it, but hoping it'll be Hodgson's last game in charge. It's long overdue, says Ozzy. Yeah, I think we will have a super chat for that on Monday. Super chat. Thanks for the super chat, Ozzy. I think we will have a watch along for that on Monday. And Yeah. Hybro says, under Ange, how many seasons do you think it will take for Spurs to finally win the Premier League? I don't think you will, mate. I think if Ange won the Premier League with Spurs, it would be, I think, be incredible. I don't think that happens for Spurs. I don't see that happening. I don't see how that happens, to be honest with you. I mean, I think Spurs might be able to top four it for a few years, but I don't see how you win titles at Spurs when you're up against what Man City are. But there is always a future that becomes very uncertain. If Man City were to get the Chargers, and if Liverpool lose Klopp and it does fall apart, then there's a void there, isn't there? Mike says, Mark, did you see what? Yeah, mate, I already clocked your name, says something, and then you've tried the. I mean, I almost feel sorry for you, Mike, really. You've tried to combine a word that only an idiot would say out. It's like, it's the classic. I'm not stupid. I do read before I read. Get Ricky on the podcast would be unreal, says Alex. Oliver Slack says, what was your job before YouTube? My job directly before YouTube was working in finance and investment as a manager. So yeah, but boring. I was good at it, but it was boring. In fact, I had a dream last night that they offered me the job, good money to go back, and actually on the morning I just walked in and said no. If Spurs win the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, they need to build a statue for Ange, says Nigel. I think if Spurs became a consistent top four club for the next 3 years, that would be incredible to do that, because there's no divine right to get in the top four when you've got Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle, Man United, Chelsea. I feel like I've forgotten somebody else as well. I mean, even you could even say Aston Villa now, Spurs. You know, there's 8 teams going for top four. I know people will laugh at Chelsea and Man United and Newcastle this year, but at the start of the season they would have been considered it. So, and I'm not, you know, as a United fan, I'm not talking about United. I'm not talking about Chelsea. I'm putting the praise on Spurs, because I didn't put Spurs in the top 8. And yeah, people can take the piss out of that, but the reality is nobody knew anything about Spurs at the start of the season. All you had was the last 3 years. So I didn't put them in the top 8. They were the unknown quantity. There's a Chinese dragon about to come out on the pitch here. That's it. What was I going to do? Yeah, big shout out. Just going to unashamedly pop that on the screen for a moment. Please do scan it. Make sure it works, because sometimes it doesn't after 200 people have scanned it, because of the people we use. Scan that QR code. It will take you to Goldbridge Saves Football Podcast. Give us a follow and start listening to the podcast. Please do, because on Monday it's a game changer for the podcast. It's going to be really exciting, and please do get involved with it. You can say you were part of it before it went big. The Ultras, get involved. Thank you very much. Scan that QR code and support it. Would you go on Diary of a CEO if asked, Mark, says Alex? I would, yeah. I mean, but I don't know whether that's sort of what they do at the moment. I watch a lot of that stuff about, you know, if you know, about sleep and diet and all that sort of stuff. I find all that quite interesting. Matt's been an ultra since day one, supporting the podcast. Thanks, pal. And Maestro says they've had 0 shots, but they've got Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva on the bench. Exactly. The game changes when those two come on. I can't see anything other than a Man City win here. I really, really can't. Thanks for your super chats, by the way. Welcome to the members club. Our 3 new members. You can do that by clicking the join button. Get your badge in, like Linda, who says get your badge in. And Bragg says, for those wondering about the dragon, it's about Chinese New Year. It's the year of the dragon. Enter the dragon. Do you see Man City having years of dominance, then falling off just like United, says Dead Man? No, not really, because what FFP has done, it's generated a situation whereby if you can put yourself in a position of strength and keep winning, you'll dominate. And Man City have high revenue. They've got the gap between revenue and transfers and wages that they can keep spending every summer. They've got a better squad than everybody else. They've got a better manager than everyone else. So really, Man City's chances of dropping off are quite small. And people will say, well, United had that, but we didn't. Man United's dominance at the end was based on having a manager who had the know-how to win a title every year over anybody else. But when he walked away, financially, it wasn't great. The squad needed updating, and his CEO left with him. So, yeah, Man City, to me, the structure and how compliant they are with financial fair play and how strong that makes them and how their squad just needs tinkering every year, I don't see Man City dropping off. Now, obviously, people will be laughing and going, saying, how can they be so strong in FFP when they've cheated? But that's my assumption is that if they get off, they're well set. Of course they are. If they don't get off, they're in trouble. Johnny, I don't read silly super chats where you put 2 words together. I didn't fucking get up with the bloody with the at lunchtime. Hi Mark, big fan of the watch-alongs. Always better to watch football with someone. Thanks for the hard work, says Quinton. Thank you very much. That's almost as bad as the one we had before. Mike and Johnny, you should go on a date on Valentine's Day and share rubbish combined names to try and catch people out. Bayern or Leverkusen tonight, says the True Blue one. You know what? I think Leverkusen have got a great chance at 5:30 today. And if they were to win that game, they'd go 5 points clear at the top. But there's still ages to go. Yeah. I think for the good of the league, you want Leverkusen to win. But there's a lot of people out there that are laughing about if Leverkusen won the title, it would just be the Harry Kane curse where Bayern win the title most years and then he goes there and they don't win it. Having said that, let's not forget, Bayern did win the league last year, but they only won the league because Dortmund bottled it at home on the last game of the season. So it's not, Bayern do dominate, but they really shouldn't have won the league last year either. So it'd be good if Leverkusen won. It'd make it more interesting. I mean, the Bundesliga is so dominated, isn't it? It really is dominated by Bayern Munich. Man City have not had many clean sheets recently, says Andrew Johnson. I know, but I just don't think Everton are doing enough so far. Spurs or Brighton, says Higgin. I can't remember what I went for in win, lose or draw. I think I went for a draw. Yeah. Real Madrid versus Girona, 5:30 for top spot, says Lamps. And do you think Spurs will continue their goal streak until the end of the season, says Adrian? Well, I think that's the whole premise of Ange Ball, isn't it? It's entertaining. So, yeah, I think there's a good chance that they will. Bayern's decline hasn't got anything to do with Harry Kane, says Keanu. And I think that's what makes it easy. I mean, I just want to spend a couple of minutes on this because the Champions League is coming back next week, and we will do some watch-alongs on it, but I don't think it's going to... I think the quarterfinals will be interesting, but I don't think the knockout stage, this one, is going to be that interesting. There's not really that many games that I look at and go, wow. But having said that, beyond I presume everybody's saying Man City favourites for it, but beyond Man City, who realistically do you think has got a chance? Real Madrid are always going to be a threat in the Champions League no matter what, and they do have some good players. Bayern Munich, I don't think they are good enough to win the Champions League. We played them twice when we weren't very good, and they were better than us, but I didn't, I don't think they're comparable to like some of the teams in the Premier League. I don't really know. Maybe Arsenal. Maybe Arsenal. Mark, if you were a manager and you had job offers from Liverpool, Chelsea, and Newcastle, which one would you take? That was the question from show. What? So if I'm me and I got offered a job by Liverpool, Chelsea, and Newcastle, I'd take the Newcastle job because it's least offensive to me as a Man United fan. I can't take the Liverpool job. I don't, they're our biggest rival. Chelsea, I'd be interested in the Chelsea job. I don't really think there's a problem taking a Chelsea job as a United fan. But they have won Champions Leagues and Premier League. So I think the lure of Newcastle would be quite interesting because they've never won anything, have they, really? So, I think I'd take the Newcastle job. The Chelsea job would interest me, but I think I'd take the Newcastle job. Best number 2 Bond, says Pat. What does that mean? The best Bond? Pep looks miserable. Looks like a guy that's been to the toilet and can't get it out. It's a nice jumper, though. What brand of jumper is that? It's got some sort of badge on the... There you go. There's a question for you. What brand of jumper is he wearing there? It ain't bloody Primark. I'll tell you that for free. Second half's about to kick off. Let's get the timer ready to go. Everton. First 5 minutes is key, and then build in 5 minutes. That's what Dyche will be saying. You've got halfway there. Means nothing if we don't stay there. Do you think it was a Stoney? Didn't look like a Stoney to me. But we're up and running anyway. Let's get that stats carousel rolling round. Make sure you scan the QR code and follow the podcast. It's about to blow up on Monday, trust me. Calvert-Lewin with a shot from distance. Rubbish. Let me get this going around. Dyche ball. They call me Dyche. Sean Dyche. What's wrong with you? Your second choice Bond. Why can't I go with the first choice Bond, Pato? I don't understand the question. Why would I have a second choice Bond? I don't even have a first choice Bond. Start bench sale, Pep's jumper, Rio's cardigan, or Doku's ponytail. I'm not a cardigan fan, so sell that straight away. I'll bench Doku's ponytail and I'll start that jumper's nice. To be fair to Pep, he does wear good clothes. And he is a good coach. Colin says Spurs Brighton should have been televised. Score could be anything. It's a hard one. You know what? I can't disclose names, but I spoke to somebody in the industry about 18 months ago, so you might be able to figure it out. don't bother. It's boring. But I spoke to somebody in the TV mainstream production industry about 18 months ago, and we were talking about that very thing, televised choices of televised games. And it was quite an interesting chat because SCLR says he's wearing CP Company jumper. Yeah, you're right. He is. 180 quid just for a sweater. Yeah, it's definitely that. Well done, that man. It's not a Stony. We can see it there. HS says, any advice to improve my skills in the bedroom? Well, I'd love to, but I've got a book coming out for Christmas where it's, you know, basically my top tips. Goldbridge saves the bedroom. And I think it's going to do really well. Some really good tips on foreplay and, you know, tactics. What to do when it goes to VAR. You know, you put it in the wrong place. So yeah. Gary Neville ruined Stoned Island, says Hick. And Mark, have you noticed the scarcity of real good players and managers currently? There are no more superstars coming through, says M. Parker. I think it's a great point. And I like talking about this stuff. I'm going to go back to the televised bit in a minute. But I think it's a great point. I've been talking about this for a long time. I genuinely think the way everybody plays football now is a killer of talent. You know, I look at Jack Grealish at Villa, taking people on every bloody game. You look at him at Man City, can't get a game, and when he plays, it's pass and move. It's all about pressing. It's all about passing between the lines. It's all about structure. It's all about patience. And it absolutely makes me laugh because obviously Seb plays football and my daughter plays football. And all you see is parents, you know, trying to create the next Mbappe, which is great. But then they go into academies where they don't want the next Mbappe. They want people who can, you know, get into position, press as a team, pass the ball around, play between the line. We're not creating individual talent anymore. You know, who is going to be the next Messi, the next Ronaldo, the next Neymar, the next Mbappe? We're not creating those sort of players, are we? I blame Pep, says Mac. Well, he is the architect of this style of football, but he didn't tell everyone to copy it. I've been saying on this channel for a while now, and on the podcast, if you play like Man City between the lines, you will get there in the end. Of course you will. They've dominated football. But what kills Pep's football, right? You put prime Gascoigne into Everton's team. Every time he gets the ball, he's going to try and take people on. Or they're going to think he's going to take them on, and then there's space for him to pass. People with the ability to go past people destroy structure. If Everton's midfielder goes past Rodri, what do the back four do? Let him carry the ball? Or do they have to move out of position? I think the evolution of football is creating footballers that have the ability to go past people. Look, talking about Man City, I saw it a few weeks ago. Kyle Walker has the ball at right back. I can't remember who he was up against. Some slow midfielder. There's space in behind. He could literally knock the ball past him and do him for pace, and he's in. He turns back and plays the ball because that's what they're taught to do. Great question there, Parker. Start, bench, sell. Cantona Kung Fu kick. Ben Thatcher forearm smash. Barton kick out. Oh, we ain't doing that. Not doing that, knee. Let the chat do it. I can't be glorifying. Well, Cantona's definitely start because the guy who did it deserved it. I'm not a big fan of violence, really. I'm not a fan of violence at all, but that prat deserved it. Mark, did you see Ronaldo angrily rubbing his nuts with a t-shirt thrown at him, says Arthur. Potential injury here for Arsenal, for Everton. Who is that? I always forget his name, even though he's the one who scored that goal. It's not. Is it Patterson? Don't think it's Patterson. Godfrey, that's it. Yeah. I remember when Godfrey was going to be the next big thing. Anyway, I was talking to this person at Sky, and they were saying that in relation to selection of televised games, you know, why would you not have Tottenham Brighton at 12:30 and instead of Man City Everton? Because you'd expect Man City to win this game 3-4, 5-0, or it'll end up being a bit like this, tight, and they'll win it 1 or 2-0. So why would you pick that over Tottenham Brighton, which is clearly going to be a really good game and have loads of goals in it? And they basically said to me, well, look, Manchester United are always, and Liverpool and Arsenal are always a consideration because they're got big fan bases, and you know if you put them on, a lot of people will watch. But Man City are winning a lot of Premier Leagues, so you've got to acknowledge that you've got to put Man City on quite a lot because they're the best team in the league. The trouble is, not a lot of people like watching Man City, so it's a double-edged sword. You've got to put them on because they're winning things, and you know they've got to be on regularly, but not a lot of people like watching Man City. So that's one reason. Also, fairness. They have to show every team's got to be shown a minimum of time as well. So what they tend to do is they'll pick Man City against Everton because, one, it shows Man City, who are the best team in the league, and two, it counts as one of Everton's games as well. So you don't always get the best game picked, which for me is stupid. You should be able to pay and watch whatever you want, says Machete. Well, yeah, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. Man City are a funny club, though. You know, they are about to potentially win 4 Premier Leagues in a row, and they're favourites to win the title. So they're very close to winning 4 Premier Leagues in a row. They've just won a treble. I mean, it's an unbelievable dynasty, but they just. I have noticed, like in Seb's age group, who's 6, there's a lot of his friends at school who support Man City. He hates them. But, see, good parenting. But I think if you're over the age of 18, which is what you want as a Man City, not a lot of people are a big fan of it. You know, not a lot of people actually like Man City. So they'll probably be fine in about 20 years' time, 10 years' time. But they're just not that well liked with a lot of people at the moment. This is the time for Everton. They're bringing Seamus Coleman on for Godfrey, who's injured, but Man City have got De Bruyne, Grealish, Walker, and Silva ready to come on. Goal kick. If it ends like this, if we got a title race, it won't end like this. And that's not even me trying to jinx it. Man City will score at some point. If Everton want something from today, they've got to score. I stand by that. Start, bench, sell, Areola, Pickford, and Fleckin, says HMH. And did you see Ronaldo? I think I read that one, didn't I? I like Areola. I'd probably say... I can't find this Ronaldo thing, rubbing his thing. Well, I'll bench Fleckin, I'll start Areola, and I'll sell Pickford. I don't rate Pickford. I get into trouble every week. Everton fans were going mad about it last week. I don't rate Pickford. I like Everton. I don't rate Pickford. It's as simple as that. I do agree with real life as well. If City were 2 down, I'd still back them from here. Yeah. Too long to go. De Bruyne is on now. I mean, look, from a fancy Premier League point of view, I've got Haaland and De Bruyne. So if Man City are going to start scoring goals, I'd love it to stay 0-0. I'd love it. I don't care about my FPL, but if they are going to start scoring goals, then let's go. City announcer getting some chance going, says Jordan. Apparently that happens at Man City. I was out with one of my mates on Friday night, last Friday night, not this Friday night, and he'd been to watch the midweek game that Man City played in the midweek Premier League games, and was it Burnley? And he said the atmosphere is dead, and the announcer actually gets the crowd to start singing songs. I mean, I've never been at a ground where an announcer has to get you singing songs, but it does happen at the Etihad apparently. I've obviously not been to the Etihad to watch a game. I've been to the Etihad; it's very impressive, but I've never been to a game. But yeah, apparently the announcer does start the songs. And my mate was saying, like, the worst thing about these modern stadiums is they are very impressive, but which end is the Kop? Which end is the Stretford end? It's hard to tell. And what I mean by that is, where is it the hardcore singing section or whatever you want to call it? Kevin De Bruyne is on. It's over, says Bronzy. Yeah, I think De Bruyne has come on for Nunez, hasn't he? Because Alvarez is still on. Yeah, it's only one sub at the moment. Kyle Walker's on as well. I think he's come on for Akanji, and Stones has gone to centre-back. Yeah, so Akanji off. Kyle Walker's gone to right-back. Stones goes to centre-back. And then De Bruyne on for Nunez, who, to be honest with you, wasn't having a good game. Ben White or Kieran Trippier, says Tom. Definitely Kieran Trippier. I mean, Ben White's a decent player, but he ain't a specialist right-back, and I think that's something that they need. Good play by Patterson, but not Branthwaite again. I mean, he is. I mean, in a way, this is bad, because I'd take him at United, but left-footed as well. Don't get many left-footed centre-backs in England that are that good, potential-wise. Walshy says Branthwaite is class, Mark. He really is. Yeah, but Trippier over Ben White. I think Ben White's a good player, but I don't really... I think Arsenal need specialist fullbacks. I think it's one of the things that's holding them back. Arsenal need a striker, 2 specialist fullbacks, and another midfielder that can help next to Declan Rice. I know they've got Timber, so it'd be interesting when he comes back. Is there a lot of empty seats, Mark? It's hard to tell because they camouflage it, don't they? Because a lot of them just wear... Apparently they tell them to wear their home kits to the ground because then it camouflages the empty seats. But no, I'm only joking. I can't see that many empty ones, to be honest. Colwell should start in the Euros, says Leroy. Josh says at least as Aussies get a streaming platform, his Foden into the box. Still so long to go in this game, you know. Everton do defend well, but they just... Look, Everton ain't Liverpool. They ain't Chelsea. They haven't got those amount of funds. But if you could have this Everton... I feel bad for Everton is what I'm trying to say, because good cross into the box, put behind for a corner by McNeil. You took this Everton team and just put, you know, Marcus Rashford on the left and Ollie Watkins up front. I think it'd be a bloody good team. They need, you know, they need that threat on the break that they just don't have. And I know people will start laughing about Rashford, but Rashford in a team like this would be heaven sent. Like, you know, he's so fast. and they do play on the break. Mitoma, Martinelli and Doku start, sub, sell. I would start Mitoma, I would bench Martinelli, and I would sell Doku. I mean, Doku had that recency bias where he scored a load of goals and everyone was like, oh, he's amazing. And really, I know he's been injured in that, but I'd still put Martinelli and Mitoma ahead of him at the moment. Gio says, darts, watch along. I'm not that into the darts, mate. Joe Gomez for the Euros, Mark, says Sam. Depends what happens with Chilwell and Shaw, doesn't it, between now and the end of the season. Both have had a lot of injury problems. It's frustrating for Everton, though, isn't it? Because even if you lose 1-0, you still lose. It's a good performance, but you still lose. So they're all, you know, it's all dependent on the result. People say, well, you can take a lot of confidence from this. You can't really. You're parking the bus and trying to get a point. If you don't get the point, it's disappointing. Needing an announcer to sing, they are so plastic, says 5 Cantonars. Calvert-Lewin's been redundant in this game. Looks slow, bad touch. But what can they do? It's just not cool to support a team like City. It's like preferring fast food over a local grass-fed fillet steak, says Treble Champ. Oh, here's Doku. Cut back. No. Holds onto the ball for too long. You know what Doku reminds me of? St. Maximin. Reminds me of St. Maximin. A very good, exciting player, and I liked St. Maximin, but it just reminds me of that. You never know what he's going to do. And it surprises me because that's not normally the sort of player that Pep wants. I mean, it's only his first season, of course, but it surprises me that Pep goes with Doku because he is so unpredictable. And the one thing about Pep's football is you can't be unpredictable. You've got to be, you know, consistent. And he doesn't let Grealish play like Doku. Like Grealish is very, at Villa, was take people on. He's not allowed to do that at Man City, but Doku is. Bit of a weird one. I think they bought Grealish for the hype. £100 million for Grealish. I think they bought that for popular. I think Grealish was a bit of a PR stunt. I think they thought, here's a good player, but if we buy him, he's going to give us so much personality, you know, brand, etc. Here's Doku. He's probably going to score now. Good pass. Foden. Wide. Walker. Gets the cross in early. Goal kick. Doku is a one-trick pony, says Nicolas Cage. Does this weird jump one way and goes the other way. Worked well at the start, but was quickly found out. And Vorse says, Jack Butland is a must if we want to win the Euros. I don't know what's happened to Jack Grealish this year. De Bruyne in on Tarkowski here. Didn't even catch him. I think De Bruyne looks better with his longer hair. I might go for that next. I wouldn't mind City being blatant cheaters that win the league constantly if they weren't so bloody boring to watch. Pass, pass, pass. It's crap, says Jack. Never really liked Barcelona under Pep. Never really liked Bayern under Pep. Don't really like Man City under Pep. Great manager. Great manager. best manager in the world, no debate. Style of football, not for me. I've always said, in a choice between Klopp and Pep, and I like neither club, Pep, opera, Klopp, rock and roll. I prefer rock and roll. I'm not dismissing it, not disrespecting it, just don't find it very interesting to watch. Silverback Gamer says, come on, Everton. Oh, that was nasty. Stones on McNeil. It was accidental, to be fair. He's caught his ankle. Adig says Barca under Pep was fun to watch. I didn't really find it that fun to watch because I remember it's just, I think they're a bit better now with De Bruyne and Haaland, but I found that Barcelona team, as good as it was, there was always a reluctance to whip a cross in. You know, there was a reluctance to shoot from 30 yards. It was pass. If I'd have seen, if a goal had gone in there, I'd be gutted. I wish I had ordered a Chinese kefir. Has anybody drunk that, actually, that kefir? It's meant to be very good for your stomach. Fermented milk. Weird how Haaland hasn't scored since November, says Benji. Well, let me tell you this. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Here's Foden into Walker. Another corner. Premier League top scorers is still Erling Haaland. He's got 14. And Salah's got 14, and Solanke's got 13, and Son's got 12. And then joint fifth is Watkins and Bowen with 11. So he's still top scorer, but nowhere near the not consistency, but prolificness. Is that a word? I believe you, Mark. You seem more engaged with the game when Spurs, Liverpool, Arsenal, and even Chelsea are playing compared to this football. Says Ash. Oh, what a goal. You know, what a fucking hit that is by Haaland. There it is. We've just been talking about his prolificness. He's absolutely battered the shit out of this with his right foot. Inevitability. Inevitable. But what a hit by Haaland. That is, it's just, it'd be heartbreaking for Everton, but they have to keep the clean sheet, and you're never going to keep the clean sheet at the Etihad. I've been saying it all game. It's 0-0 is not going to happen. You've got to have a goal threat, and defensively, I think Everton have done really, really well. But as Addy says, we all knew it was coming. The cross comes in, headed down, and you're never saving that. I mean, I think Pickford gets an arm on it, but it's just on the bounce. Why is no one watching? It just absolutely volleys the crap out of it. You can't save it. There's too much power on it. He gets a hand on it, Pickford, but yeah, you're not saving that. Captained in FPL, I'm sure everyone else has got it. 20 minutes to go. Could be more goals now. Typical Jinx Bridge. Hey, it's not me. You lot were saying he hasn't scored since November. And I said, look, he's not been as prolific, but he's always going to score goals, isn't he? He'll win the Golden Boot. But look, some people were starting to believe Everton could get something out of it. You're never going to keep a clean sheet at the Etihad. You've got to have more. And Calvert-Lewin's been absolute shit. And this is Everton's problem. They don't deserve to go down Defensively, very, very good. Offensively, absolutely crap. They've got no... I mean, Ashley Young's playing right wing. He should be down bloody John Lewis with his family, you know, on a Saturday afternoon these days, having a coffee and buying a TV. Should be retired. But what have Everton even got on the bench? You know, they haven't got De Bruyne, they haven't got Bernardo Silva, they haven't got Jack Grealish, they haven't got a striker. Good ball into Mikalenko, but Kyle Walker's on him now, look. So Everton's job now is to try and do something that they've not looked like doing all game, score in the last 20 minutes. Pickford has to do better, says Joe. I think the pace beats him. What snacks have you got for Super Bowl? I've got mine, says Connor. I'm pissed off, mate. I ordered some stuff on Wednesday. Next day delivery. Still not here. Don't you just hate companies that say they do next day delivery and basically it's a con? So I have got some, but I might have to pop out this afternoon or tomorrow and get some more. Start bench sell. Etu... Aguero, Drogba. Are you going to do a watch along for Wolves Brentford, says Sean? No. Oh, there it is. I need to write this down, actually. Do you think this is where Arsenal will struggle because they don't have a prolific scorer, unlike Haaland, Salah, even Solanke? Love the podcast, says Jensen. Big up, Jensen. You know the rules. A thunder bastard of a goal, triple captain, wallop, says the Hughes lad. I always forget about the treble captain thing. I'm glad I didn't use it today, although if he goes and scores some more. I genuinely believe if Arsenal had Ollie Watkins up front, they'd have a very good chance of winning the league, but they don't. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Tomorrow I'm doing West Ham against Arsenal, then I'm going straight on to Villa, Man United. So 2 cracking games tomorrow afternoon, and also Super Bowl watch along tomorrow. Really excited about that. I just tweeting there. I think Everton defensively have played so well, but Calvert-Lewin is he's either injured or he's a disgrace to the shirt. I mean, it's just I've not, you know, I've given him a lot of credit. He just doesn't look interested. Doesn't look interested at all. With Chelsea in the FFP bin, would you think they'd be ahead in the race for Osman now? Says Cal. I think Osman will go PSG. I've got a feeling that's where he's going to go. At first, I thought it was going to be the Saudi League, and it still could be, but I don't think he'll come the Prem. I just don't have. It's only a hunch. I've not been told it by anybody. Bernardo Silva coming on. Double substitution for Everton. I'd be very surprised if Calvert-Lewin isn't coming off. Alvarez coming off for Bernardo Silva. I mean, that's an upgrade. Edward says, are you going to do Goldbridge Reacts soon, Mark? I've just done one. I enjoyed it. It didn't get as many views as I thought it would, so probably going to bin it. But if you want to keep it, get watching it. No, I probably will do some more, really. Joshua Gray says, I agree. Osman will go to PSG when Mbappe goes to Madrid. Yeah, absolutely spot on. Calvert-Lewin coming off. Shit. And Ashley Young as well. I agree with these substitutes. I don't get why Young plays for Everton. Every game I've seen him play this season, he just looks past it. Good player in his day, but looks past it. Beto on for Everton and Onana on for Everton. I mean, look, doesn't mean Beto's going to be better, but this Onana though, he's a player that Chelsea, Arsenal, United have been linked to. Ryan says, why do your streams here and on the United stand keep restarting? Never heard that as a problem before. Good tackle there by Tarkowski. Here's Garner, not really been able to express himself in this game. Dwight McNeil shouldn't really be shooting from there. Put the cross in the box, for God's sake. You're going to lose this opportunity now. All the way back to the halfway line, look. Had a chance to whip a cross in the box there, Everton, and refused it, and then they end up on their own halfway line again. See, Coleman knows. Get the cross in. Lovely play by Haaland. Wins the free kick. Simon says, do you know why Alisson is out today? I didn't know he was, mate. Alisson's not been dropped from Liverpool. He's got the flu, says Rachel Todd. There you go. Team news is coming out for the 3 o'clocks. Actually, just on that, I'll give you some of the 3 o'clock updates. But one of the big ones for me is, does Son start? No. He's on the bench. I've got him in my FPL. So Son's on the bench. It's Richarlison, Werner and Kulusevski who start. And Basuma's on the bench as well. He's stuck with Bentancur, Maddison and Sarr. So that's the luxury for Spurs. You can start with Son and Basuma on the bench. Liverpool have got Kelleher in goal. Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, Robertson, Trent, McAllister, Endo, Jones, Jota, Nunez and Diaz. Obviously, Salah's injured. They're at home to Burnley. What? He's offside. Fucking hell. I was going to say, what a fucking miss by Beto, but he was offside anyway. Luckily for him, because that was a shit miss. Can anybody stop City? Well, they're everybody's favourite. They're top of the league with this win. Their next Premier League game is next Saturday against Chelsea. You'd expect them to win that. Then they've got Brentford. You'd expect them to win that. Then they've got Bournemouth. You'd expect them to win that. Then they've got Man United. You'd expect them to win that. They're at home 3 times in the next 4 Premier League games. So the next game they might struggle is Liverpool at Anfield, which isn't until the 10th of March. But Man City going on an amazing run of victories is not a surprise, is it? You know, everybody said that. You've got to... They're more than capable of winning games 1-0 as well. Yeah, they can win 3 or 4-0, but they're more than capable. Defensively, they're very hard to score against. They've got very, very good defenders. Diaz, Akanji, Aki, Stones, Vardiel, Walker. Rodri plays in front of them. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, there's no way the keeper's saving that. Good technique on his weaker foot as well, if he has got a weaker foot, Haaland. Loose Bolt says, have you checked out the wildlife winning photographer of the year? It's a napping polar bear. Yeah, we were looking at it the other day. Edison quickly off his line. I'm starving. I need a snack. I need a snack. God damn it. I'm starving. Thanks everyone who's subscribed, by the way. You can do that through the bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with that. Spudball. And here's McNeil. He should have crossed that earlier. Goes for a throw-in. I don't know what to have for lunch. I know what I've got for tea. Or dinner, whatever you call it. John says, is Faz okay? Not seen him on the United stand for ages. He was on Tuesday or Wednesday. You know what it is? It's because there's no game. It's because we're not playing midweek games, so there's not as many fan forums. Thanks for asking, though, John. Can Everton create a chance here in these last 5 minutes? We'd all love it to happen, but I just don't see it. I think Everton are going to struggle to score goals. And this is a lovely ball. And it's Haaland up against Branthwaite. And he's barged him down. You've got to applaud it. De Bruyne, assist points. Haaland, second goal. He bullied. You know, we've said Branthwaite's had a good game. He's bullied him. He's bullied him there. 2-0. Game over. It was over at 1-0. Look at this pass by De Bruyne as well. The gap's there. He's in a 1v1 here, Branthwaite, and he's in trouble. He's absolutely bullied him to the ground. I mean, is there an element of a foul in it? Not for me. I think he trips him up by accident. I think it's just a slip by Branthwaite. You're never going to get a foul for that. It's just one of those comings together. But yeah, it's just he's the best striker in the world, isn't he? He's the best striker. He's the best striker in the world. Grealish comes on now for like 4 minutes. Fucking hell. Is that what you are, mate? Have you just become a beer boy for Man City? I mean, what's happened to Jack Grealish? I guarantee if you sat him down privately and he was honest, he wouldn't say he was happy. I know he wanders in with beers and this, but fucking hell. £100 million player. And he's basically a bit part for 5 minutes when the game's over. I thought he'd won his way back into the team. I thought when they won the treble, he was considered a first team player. A lot of 115s in the chat. You know the rules. Big up the 115. Haaland will be gone in the summer, says Ray S. What? You know, I need to look into this. What's this restart thing though? So if there's an ad played, it restarts the stream, and you have to. How do you then get to the live bit? I don't really understand why it would restart. What are the rules, says Mika. Phil Jones says Grealish won his trophies. His mentality is awful. He'll drop off now. FPL. I'm sure a lot of you are in a very similar position to me, but I've currently got 24 points. Assist for De Bruyne and 20 for Haaland. Look, what I would say is, as watch-alongs go, I was quite scared of doing this watch-along because I was like, this will be 5 or 6-0. Man City will score in the first 10 minutes and that's the game over. So the fact that Everton made it relevant for 65 minutes meant that the watch-along's actually been not too bad. But, yeah, look, on a pure footballing level, Man City are irritatingly good. There's no two ways about it. They're the favourites to win the league. They're the best team in the league. And is it a Farmers League, Mark? I think with Man City in it, it is a little bit, yeah. But we shouldn't be surprised by that. But oddly, you know, as I said, not many people. The amount of people in the chat, you see a few Man City fans, but the amount of people in the chat who just actually just are bored of them is. I'd be worried about that if I was Man City. There's nothing. There doesn't seem to be many endearing factors to them, does they? But look, what we do need, and I keep saying this, and I'm bored of saying it myself, is we need resolution on this court case. We need resolution on these charges because nobody respects them. That's the problem. I said it in the first half. They're not respected, and Man City fans fight against that. But if a Man City fan was playing Man United and United had 115 charges against them, they wouldn't shut up about it as well. They're just not respected. Offside. Beto. He scores, but he's offside. Needs to stay on side. Looks like he's born offside. Oh, fucking hell. He's miles off. It's a good hit. It's a very good... I'll tell you what, it's a very good finish from there to beat Edison on the front post, but he's miles offside. But he's done more in 10 minutes than Calvert-Lewin did all game. Man City is like a sports car you borrow for 2 years, 115, and then you have to give it back. Points deduction and relegation, says Havard. Premier League table. Somebody said, can we show that? Yeah, we should be able to get it up for you. Sorry I didn't include that anyway. Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Apologies, we should have had that up all game. That's my fault for not putting it in there. So, as you can see, Man City have played the same amount of games as Liverpool now. They will have a game in hand later, but that's what happens when Man City wins their game in hand. They're top by a point, and yeah. Greasy says, why does Everton still rely on Calvert-Lewin? Look, I think Calvert-Lewin's a better player than that, but I think today's been a disgrace. I'd be fuming with him if I was Deitch, and I'd be fuming with him if I was an Everton fan, because the defence played really well. But as the striker, when your defence plays like that, you've got to offer something that's a threat, and he didn't. He wasn't mobile enough. His link-up play was crap. You know, Man City are going to dominate the ball, of course they are, but the defence was doing well. But you've got to score a goal. You can't keep a clean sheet at the Etihad. It's not going to happen. You've got to get one goal. It gives your defence a chance. And he offered nothing for 70 minutes. Sam says, going to enjoy the rival tears when we're cleared. Mate, I don't think anyone would begrudge you enjoying the rival tears when you get cleared, and maybe you will get cleared. But the problem at the moment is everyone thinks you're a cheat, and you can't do anything about it. And you'd think we were cheats if United had been accused of it. Stop. The problem with Man City fans is they crave respect and think everyone should respect them, but we don't. We don't trust you. We don't respect you. And it would be the same if it was Arsenal or any other club. You've got 115 charges against you. We've seen points deductions for Everton. We're going to see them again for Forest and maybe Everton again. You've got 115 charges against you. No one trusts you. No one respects you. And until your name's cleared, you're going to have to deal with that. That's just the way it works. And if you do get cleared, you can say, I told you so. But until that point, no one respects you. And that's just the way it is. And if you get found not guilty, then, you know, maybe you need to take it up with the Premier League as to why you were charged in the first place. Because reputationally, it's not great, is it? And even if you do get cleared, people will probably say, yeah, you got off on technicalities or paid your way out of it. You didn't respect City before the charges, says Hammer. No, I didn't, because I you know why? I've played the game, Hammer, and I always suspected, like a lot of fans, I never understood how they were doing what they did. So I didn't respect it before the charges, no. Because I think for about 15 years, people have been wondering how Man City have done it. The charges just confirmed people's suspicions that something wasn't quite right. So you're right, I don't think anybody did really respect them before either, because that's why they got called what they got called. Unknown says, brother, you're not my brother, mate. No City fans give a shit about your respect. But you do, though. You do, because that's why you've just put the comment in. I see it all the time. I get clipped up on bloody Man City outlets all the time. And I'm trying to explain to you why no one respects you. But you don't. But you do care about it because you never shut up about it. We've been talking about Calvert-Lewin and we're back talking about Man City again. You do care because you never shut up about it. And then you start going, we don't care, but you do care because that's why we're talking about it, because you never shut up about it. Oh, when we get cleared, you do care. You never shut up. Any Man City fan I ever talk to, they never shut up about it. You do care. You want to be respected. Every winner wants to be respected. It's like Djokovic in tennis. He's the best tennis player by a long way, but for some reason, a lot of people don't like him and it bothers him. It eats him up. And it eats Man City fans up as well. Can United sign Branthwaite, please, says Ben. Well, look, he was at fault for the second goal, but I think there's enough there. He's only a young player. I think he's a good player. Five Cantona says they've cheated whether they get away with it or not. And Yannick says, in a hypothetical world where City get found guilty, do you think they'll get stripped of a few titles? United would have won 2 Prem titles if not for City. Sam says we'll keep winning in the meantime. I'm sure you will. Don't think anybody predicted that you wouldn't. I wouldn't. Look, we're talking in hypotheticals, of course we are, Yannick. But if they got relegated or whatever like that, I wouldn't want one of their titles because you don't get to celebrate those titles. They're gone. They're Man City's titles. Let them have them. Just put an asterisk next to it or a footnote. But I don't want I don't want their titles because we didn't win them. And retrospective titles don't feel like winning titles, do they? So I wouldn't want that to happen. I think Liverpool would get a couple as well. We'd get a couple. Arsenal would probably get one last year, but it's not the same as actually winning them. Let them have them, I'd say. Or if you're going to strip them, don't give them to anyone else. Juventus were stripped of them. But look, I don't think we'll even get a result. When's the court case? I don't think we'll have... I think City could win this year and next year. Legit. Before any result comes in. So maybe even another year. We could be 3 years away. I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take. But I understand both sides that it is silly that we're continuing to watch dominance without resolution. No one respects City because they bought their success. It's completely artificial. They don't have enough fans to justify how much they spend, says Mr. Bungle. Dan John says, Mark, there's only a handful of real City fans. 80% were United fans till the money came in. I think it was predominantly Chelsea fans who went and supported Man City, actually. I think, yeah. I'm sure I read some article a few years ago that it was actually a lot of Chelsea fans who went to support City. I mean, who does that anyway? Who changes who changes the support because somebody's successful? Man City is the most searched EPL team in the USA, says Mr. Yeah, but I understand that. I think in a growing market, if you go to continents or countries where football is growing, I get why people would support Man City because it's new to you. Who's the best? Oh, I'm going to support Man City. I get that. I think for the new inductees into football, I understand why they'd support Man City. It's happened with Chelsea, and I think in India there's a lot of Chelsea fans as well. But the traditional fan, you know, the English fan, how does the Man City fan base of, let's say, 2008, they've probably got, what, I don't know, let's say they've got a couple of 100,000 fans. How does that go up to 2 million fans in the UK in 10 years? People have got to down tools on the club they really support. Oh, Haaland, sorry, De Bruyne onto the roof of the net. 10 minutes added on here, by the way. Can I just say, this is a disgrace. Why are we adding 10 minutes onto the games again? Incredible. Where's 10 minutes come from? They are, Tim says, City may be good, but they're boring to watch. And it must be uneventful. Mate, the fact that the Tannoy guy has to start the songs in the ground, I think, you know, there is no moral victory because Man City will win the title probably. But at least most Premier League clubs don't have to start songs in the ground from the guy who's on the Tannoy. I mean, that is incredible. And it's true. It's true. The Tannoy guy starts the songs at the Etihad, which is just amazing. But, you know. Well done to City and Haaland. They won 2-0. Everton, look, they were never going to get a result today, but they certainly weren't going to get a result if they didn't score, and they didn't score. 2-0 to Manchester City. They go top. They are the favourites to win the league, and I'm sure they will. Stop crying, Mark, mate. You know what I'm going to do? Me and Seb are off down the shop now to buy some sweets, and we're going to play a bit of Mario Kart. And then I've got to put a bed together, and then I'm on TalkSport later, and then I'm looking forward to Man United against Villa tomorrow. There are no tears here. I said Man City would win the league at the start of the season. I said Man City would win the league on Christmas Day. I said Man City would win this game today. There's no tears. because I know I expect it. So there's no tears at all. I don't respect Man City. I think that they're very boring to watch, but you know, they will win the league. It is what it is. There's no tears here at all. What there is frustration and, you know, anger from Man City fans who have to shout tears because they're absolutely fuming from the amount of 115s in the chat because no one respects them. Everyone else is absolutely fine. We're going to go about our days and enjoy it. But you're going to be sat there going, no one respects you because everyone knows what you've been charged with. And that's the truth. Get on with it. Enjoy your winning. You know, you've won the game. You're probably going to win the league. Enjoy it. I don't know why you need everybody else's seal of approval, but I've explained it to you. No one respects you because you have got 115 charges against your name at the moment. And until you're cleared from that, no one's going to respect you. So you enjoy your Saturday. We'll enjoy ours. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Tomorrow, do not forget that we've got the Super Bowl watch along tomorrow night. Really excited about this. We do it every year. I love doing it. Talking about Man City, the Chiefs are a little bit like the Man City of the NFL. So hopefully the 49ers will win tomorrow. But you can join me for that tomorrow night. But also before that, West Ham against Arsenal on here in the afternoon. And then Man United's trip to Villa Park tomorrow. It really is a Super Sunday. So get involved with that. And on your way out, please do scan that QR code and visit Goldbridge Saves Football Podcast. Give us a follow and give it a listen. Big things happening with that podcast on Monday. So get on it now and be part of the Ultras before it happens. Take care, everyone. Fantastic. Loved the stream today. I'll speak to you all in a bit. Take care.